I'm on mute. I didn't even see that. Guys, welcome to the StraightJacket podcast. Podcast 205. And it's later than usual because we have a World Cup right now and it's crazy times. It's crazy manic. But we're here. Nuruddin, how are you? How everything going?
World Cup fever, mate. World Cup fever. We're having it. We're having it.
You know what? What have you made of the World Cup so far? Like, what have you made of it?
Good, man. Good. I thought the
Enjoying
US made that first half. I was thinking, oh my gosh. When do we ever get to see the US? The first half, they look like world beaters.
I know.
And then they realized they're representing USA. And they thought, oh shit, we better calm down.
You know what, though? I think Kiefer Moore changed the game. They had an outlet. The guy from
He did. Listen, with the Welsh manager, they waited all that long to qualify for the World Cup. And the next minute, they go there and do a fucking Iran. And the US made them look like San fucking Marino. Yeah. I was like, what the hell is going on here? What the hell is going on here?
What's going on here?
So the WhatsApp groups were going absolutely berserk, right? And we're like, yo, we always worried about the US in it in terms of fitness conditioning. But in that first half, I don't think they've ever played that good, ever in any World Cup. The first half, they were totally dominant. The interchanging of positioning, the high line with a 35-year-old.
I know.
You know what I mean? Interchanging, and their goal, for me, is the best team goal I've seen so far. Is their goal.
I'll find a World Cup. Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't know who equalised though. Was it Bale that equalised? What
Bale penalty from Bale.
Was it a penalty?
Yeah. But then England beforehand, you know what I mean? Is it coming on, Nuruddin? Is it coming on? What are we saying? Are we getting giddy?
Nah, not yet.
Come on, Nuruddin. Is it coming on?
Iran played like a bunch of bottle jobs, mate.
I know.
Iran have been decent in the past couple of years. They sacked the manager that got them to the World Cup. And then they employ Carlos Queiroz, man. Are you taking the biscuit? And then he's only had 3 months to work with them. So obviously they can't figure out what's going on. And the next minute, they just sat back. And England, soon as that first goal came in, and Bellingham, man. I know it's Iran and everything, but you can only be what's put in front of you. But Bellingham looks like just a world beater at the moment. Honestly, he was so dominant. And you know, even like, he's bullying the fucking rest of the players, telling them where to be. Telling them to get there.
19 years old, man.
Yo,
I mean,
my guys play like Captain Marvel, mate. My guys play like Captain Marvel. So he's Captain Marvel.
Yeah. We missed the opportunity to get him, man.
Listen, and obviously all of the moralizing Western hypocrisy, man. You know, I've been sick of it. Like the BBC didn't show the ceremony. That's unheard of. Of course it's a real World Cup. Of course it's raining and it's, you know, you associate like tournaments.
The grounds were empty, man.
Summers, you associate with summers, being outside, seeing your friends, meeting up in fan parks. You know what I mean? Go to your local to watch it. You know what I mean? Everybody's feeling good. Obviously, it's miserable out there, isn't it? Has it stopped raining today, like in Manchester?
Bro, I've got no signal on my TV. Have you got signal today on your TV? Because my signal's gone because of the rain. Mate, it's gone. It's no signal. But today was just awful, the weather. I went to the England game today. I had 2 jackets on. And I was like, bro, are we actually going to a World Cup? Like, it felt surreal because normally you're going outside and it's raining.
Where did you go to the fan park?
Yeah, I went to the fan park. It was all right, you know. It was decent. It was at the Mayfair Depot. Decent atmosphere.
Mayfair Depot, yeah.
So, you know, big up to the guys that sorted us out for that one. But yeah, man, it was decent, man. Me and Big Steve supported England. Who would have thought? Man City and the United fan supported England.
That's what happens. So that's what happens. You've got to bring people together. Listen, we're going to be talking about it at 10 o'clock on our channel. I called it the model. I called it the moral hypocrisy brigade, innit? That's the title of the show, mate. So anytime any of this, that's the name of the podcast from now on, the moral hypocrisy brigade. So make sure you tune into that podcast at 10 o'clock, people, because trust me, we're gonna get into it. Like I said, I didn't see the ceremony, the opening ceremony. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, regardless what you think of the people, but you know
I was gonna ask you. Obviously, Maguire looking like
Look
Maguire.
good, he looked good. But then to be fair, Sai, let's hold up here.
I know.
Let's hold up here, right? Iran didn't attack England for for a long time in the game. They just sat back 11 men behind the ball. But when they attacked England and they put two moves together, who did they get behind?
Maguire.
And what a finish by the guy as well. What a finish. I felt sorry for that striker. I know.
Taremi's a good player, man.
What an absolute finish. I thought the penalty was that, but he looked good. He looked assured. He didn't look as nervous. I thought Ole Gunnar Southgate played the right formation 4-3-3.
Yeah, thank God. Let them play, man. Let them play.
4-3-3. And I thought the boys expressed themselves. Like I said, at the end of the day, it's Iran who have got a cowardly manager. They haven't even got the tactics that to play to. And then they got taken apart. But be fair to him, to be fair to Harry Maguire, he looked assured. He looked like every time England get a corner, he looks like he's going to score or he's going to do something and people are worried about it. And he should have had a penalty. But I thought Shaw played well. Rashford come on 3 touches, first 3 touches a goal in a World Cup. At the end of the day.
What about Gakpo? Well. What about Gakpo for Holland? Obviously, we're touted to
the run for the goal was brilliant. The run for the goal was brilliant. But he's not a striker. Let's not get it twisted. He's not a striker.
No, he's a winger. He's a winger. I think for me, he was probably the only player that was looking to do something. But Van Gaal played him out of position. He didn't play him in the right position. So, again, you know what I mean? It just depends on whether Man United will look to get him. De Jong, first half was good. Second half, started to mess around, but then has the quality to do what he did. You know what I mean? But again, Senegal looked toothless, man. They've no striker, man. I feel for them. And Mendy as well. What an awful keeper. Absolute awful keeper. But listen, we are going to talk about Jadon Sancho. Like the video, people. There's 200 of you in the chat right now. We need everyone to hit that like button. The more likes we get, the more it hits the algorithm. So please, please hit that like button right now if you haven't done already. Jadon Sancho. You know what? I knew it was more than tonsillitis, Nuruddin. I knew it, man. I said to myself, bro, this tonsillitis, like, how long is it? Then people say to me, oh, it affects your breathing, which I was like, okay, fair enough. But it looks like it's more than that. And yes, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? On Sunday, we started to hear that Sancho is going through some problems. He's deleted all of his pictures, or at least hid them. He's made his profile picture black. I mean, what do you reckon, bro? What do you reckon?
Listen, how old is he? 22 or 23?
22.
Right. Imagine being a professional. He's been playing that for at least 4 years in the public, as a professional. Before that, he was one of the most sought after young players in the country. He was incredible in youth football. He set incredible records. So for me, 22, getting into this, being a professional, leaving the country, living some of the country, coming back to an absolute in turmoil of a mess of a club like Man United are. All of the pressure that comes with that.
Yep.
It's going to take a mental health toll, and it's going to take a toll on you. The fact that his family live in London, for me, his family, he wasn't with them for about 2.5 years, was he, or 2 years or so?
Yeah, in Germany.
Yeah, so they need to come and move to Manchester. It's simple. I think his support group needs to be moved to Manchester. At the end of the day, London's 2 hours on a train, man. These people are giddy, and they can all go down.
The majority of your family are in London. You're gonna probably tend to end up.
You're gonna miss them because you lived in another country. You know what I mean? You lived in another country, and then you're playing at high-pressured football at Man United. You know what kind of a club we are, where people can't look at Grealish. Today he scored, but Grealish had made his move from Birmingham to Manchester. Grealish, has he done anything to justify 100 million, Saeed? He's been one of the biggest flops in recent years.
No, but you know what? Grealish.
But Man City are winning. But Saeed, Man City are winning, right? So you don't hear anything from it. If Man United were winning, Jadon Sancho would be given the time to iron out any problems, whether it's family problems, whether it's mental health problems. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So I think it's time to back him. I think he's 22 years old, and you know what I think about young players, innit? You know how I feel about young players.
Yeah, of course.
I think young players, for me, don't write them off, because young people will always surprise you, but they need guidance, they need help, they need support. So I think as a fan base, that's what we need to do. And obviously, not going to the World Cup didn't look like he was going to go to the World Cup. All of that's going to take his toll. All his mates are at the World Cup. All his mates. I mean, if he's watching the game today, he can see he's like, how come I'm not there? Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah, of course.
And when you're 22 or when you're 28 or 29 and get dropped, it's totally different kind of mentality. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah, 100%. Big up Zayn Miati.
It's not easy.
He's got a super chat here. We will be discussing this on Nourish channel, so make sure you tune in for that one. Why did BBC show Olympics in China but not this? It's the taxpayers' money. They have no right what they pick, what we see. Also, BBC have gone woke. We will discuss that on Nourish channel, 10 p.m. You know what? Realist TV's come back at you and said, you know what? Are you blaming his bad form on moving from country? You know what I mean? You know what it is? You have to be...
So, let me answer it. I'm not. If you listen to me, Real TV, I'm giving a context. Leaving the country while you're young, at a really young age. Going to a different culture. Leaving your family behind. Then coming back. Coming into high profile Man United with the circus that comes with Man United. Coming back to your home country, but still not being surrounded by your family. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah, of course.
So it's the context. I'm not saying that. I'm not blaming them. I'm trying to tell you as 22-year-old, it's not a natural pressure that you feel, really. It's a lot to take in a young person. In the Euro, all the abuse that he got, all the blame that he got. Like today, for example, Saka and Rashford turned a new leaf today from all of the racism and all of the hounding they got. So at the end of the day, he didn't. So all of this in the past couple of months, knowing that his form's not been great, getting dropped by Ten Hag, not playing that well, but then in some patches playing really well. So for me, I'm trying to give the whole context. If you listen, get the wax out, have a listen. It's the full context. I'm trying to tell you, all of that can get on top of people because you know what? In football, there's no rest, Saeed. There's no rest.
Yeah, I know. It's full on. It's full on.
You can switch off and take 3 months off. You know, musicians, Saeed. You know musicians, yeah?
Yeah.
Get all on top of them. The fame, the money, everything gets on top of them. Guess what they do? They take time off. 3 months. And go, you know what? I was supposed to work on my album this month. Can I work on it? I need to get my mind right. Footballers can't do that.
No, they can't. And you know what it is? For Sancho as well, like I said, yeah, it's about dealing with bad form and good form as well. Like I said, has he got the strong willpower to deal with that? You know, has he got that personality about him? We won't know. You know what I mean? Like I said, I see the interview that he made. He said it still was affecting him, you know, the England defeat, and obviously he missed the penalty. Even when he was doing the interview, there was an interview that I read about it, and he said, you know, I still wasn't happy, you know. And ultimately, like I said, with right now, he hasn't got his place locked in. You know, Garnacho's come out the block now. Do you think he's able to cope with this pressure now? Is he the sort of player that you think that can manage that? Do you fear for him in a sense? Like, be honest, like, do you fear for Sancho at United at the minute? Or are we speaking too soon? You know what I mean? He has to have a full, you know, season with United at least. He's got time now with Ten Hag. Whether he uses that time, I'm not sure. So what do you think, bro?
He's got time. He's only a young kid, Saeed. He's got time, of course. Of course, the things are going to affect him. I believe if his home life is good, his family life is good, all of that's good, I think he can deal with the football pressure. But when other things in your life are not right, or your mental health is not great, then it's very difficult to deal with that pressure. Big up Claire, by the way.
Yeah, you know what? It's the same with Lingard as well. You know, remember Lingard spoke about it, and he said, you know what, he went through a phase. You know, you got to remember social media pressure as well with Jadon Sancho as well. You got to realize, you know, there's a lot of, you know, there's that image and that brand that he's got to live up to. You know, and right now that's why he's come away from social media. Obviously, people might be, you know, abusing him or whatnot. We don't know what's going on, but again, that social media pressure is a lot for a young player to take on. So again, what he's feeling with in terms of that kind of situation, we don't know yet. But I just hope that Ten Hag is with him, is phoning him and making sure that he's okay. Because at the end of the day, the main thing is you need to have players that are in your team, they're okay mentally as well. Because at the end of the day, physically, your form can go, good and bad. But mentally up there, it has to be always sharp and be strong as well, Nuruddin. Let's be honest.
Now, 100%. Like, for me, like, stepping away from social media. Because, come on, Sati, because you know what we have, innit? Like,
yeah, of course.
Like, when you're a young person, now this generation, innit? Like, he's even a lot young. He's a bit younger than you, innit? He's quite a lot younger than you.
Quite younger than me.
It's not even your generation, is it? He's a generation below, isn't it?
Generation below, yeah.
So, at the end of the day, you have like this stuff. That generation, more than any generation, they have two lives. They have the real world, and then social media world. So if he decides to step away from social media, I think that's a good thing. That can only be a good thing for your mental health. Honestly, that can only be a good thing. And from what I read, it's saying sources close to him are saying he just wants to focus on his thing on the football pitch and doesn't want to be distracted by anything. And I think fair play to him. Fair play to him.
You know what? I think honestly as well, you got to remember, like, he wants to ultimately get back to the form that he had at Dortmund, the form that we know that he can bring. Like, this is a player that has talent, Nuruddin. We nobody can say, oh, this and that, he hasn't got talent, this and that. Maybe the hard work and whatnot, that will come, yeah. But the talent is there. Everybody knows the talent is there. Abdishek isn't as lenient as us. He says Sancho is finished, doesn't dribble, doesn't cross, assist or beat a man, score goals. Garnacho is a future. Sancho is done, mate, he says. Wow, man, strong opinions.
Wow.
And you know what? We want other opinions as well. It's all about opinions on this channel.
Now listen, it's all about, but that's a wild.
That is very harsh, though. To say he's done at
like,
Man United.
Did you see what he did against Liverpool? Did you see what he did against Liverpool? How many goals has he scored this season?
3.
Sancho scored 2, 3. He scored 2 Premier League goals
this season altogether.
Yeah, 2 Premier League goals.
Premier League, 1 in Europa.
At the end of the day, I'm not writing him off. I understand your opinion, but I think this generation, Saeed, like, of supporters, write players off too quickly, man.
I know, and you know what? You're right. Maybe I'm the same with Ilanga. I think Ilanga's a different story, though. But
I think you are. I think you're all too harsh. I think you're all the younger generation. I think the younger generation below you, your generation, you're all FIFA. You think that footballers play in perfect games, like you control, like some cheat mode. There's no cheat mode. You have to develop and get better. Look at Bellingham today. At 16, he's shown such an incredible talent. He's got close-knit family that look after him. I think his mum's over there all the time. His mum, I think he lives there. You know what I mean? So his family, like, literally, their lives resolve around supporting him and helping him. And look how unbelievable performance that he put in today for England. So for me, young players, man, I don't write them off. They're gonna make mistakes. I will ask that brother there, right? Do you make mistakes in your life? Do you like people writing you off? Nah. At the end of the day, high sport, top level sport, elite sport, high pressure.
Let me ask you a question. Right. Do Man United fans have to really program what a Man United winger is? Because I feel like, for me, we're still on that term of high-flying wingers. Nani, Ronaldo, Beckham, Giggs, even this Garnacho kid, even Rashford. Do Man United understand what player Sancho really is? Because I don't think every single fan thinks. I haven't studied him. They haven't watched Sancho at Dortmund. I think a lot of people be like, oh, English talent, this and that. I'm happy to be here. I knew what I was getting with Sancho, though. I know he's not going to get past people. I know he's not quick. I know he's not athletic. I know what he isn't. So maybe the fans that think that they want better, what do you want better? Because if he's not that player, then why are you moaning and why are you giving him a slice?
Listen, I genuinely disagree. I think he can beat people. I think he's so skillful, such an incredible tight, close control. I think that in the ways that Ten Hag wants to play, he don't want people just to be super direct all the time. But I do think that he's a confidence player. I do think
Yeah, he is definitely a confidence player.
And he's the type of player that needs the whole team to function, Saeed. He needs the whole team to function. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Team needs to function. But we've seen him play. I thought Liverpool game, I thought he was one of our better players against the Liverpool in a high-profile game against a top team. So I'm not, to me, writing him off. I think he has to get everything right. His mental health right. His sleep right. His support right. All those things have to be right.
I think that's a good one, you know, because you've got to remember, what's his support network like, you know? Has he got good friends around him? Has he got motivational people around him? Has he got people that are telling him, yo, listen, you can't go and do this tonight. You got to train. You got to go wake up in the morning early. You got to do certain stuff. You got to remember, like, friendship groups are a big thing, man, to when you train. It comes within yourself, but you need people around you.
Especially when you're famous and you got money. Especially, there's going to be a lot of vultures around you, innit? It's fact.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people
who want, who secretly want you to fail, and then be like, you know what, at least we're getting money from you. You know what I mean? So you've got has he got the right, you know, friendship group around you? You know what I mean? So I feel like for me, it's one of the situations where, big up to Olu, who says age is an excuse. Look at Saka, what he's doing. But also, you got to remember this. Like I said, Saka's dealt with it the right way, and Sancho unfortunately hasn't. You know what I mean? And he's not being able to build from that. But the pressure and the price tag, it's massive, man. Sancho came from the youth academy straight into the team. Saka's come from a very, very heavy price tag. So it is different, but it's similar in a certain way. Having that price tag and then having to deal with that and justify that for Sancho, you know, does he think about the price tag often? Do you reckon as well in his mind? Do you reckon he has to prove something? Do you reckon he's thinking, oh, I need to prove something. I need to show why I'm £72 million worth. And, you know, because we chased it for 2 years, remember?
No, we did. But I think Man United are a dysfunctional football club.
And Ollie never had a plan. That Ollie, man, we all rated, yeah? You know what I mean? He never had a plan with Sancho. Because he brought him and then he played him. He didn't really play him, did he? Let's be honest.
Listen.
Didn't really play him.
Listen, I think when you're a young player, it's time for him to get used to living in the UK again, readjusting, seeing all his friends, seeing everybody. I think it's going to take time. And people are saying about Saka. Saka went through bad times with Arteta. There was times where his form wasn't that great. So, and times where he got played as a wing back by Arsenal. He wasn't playing on the left-hand side. It's only with coaching, with patience and support that he was supported. So at the end of the day, that is what it is. And I'm not, me personally, writing Sancho off. I'm not. And I think if any of you guys will, I think it's going to go and bite you in the backside. I think his support system is super important. And I think that once he focuses and once Man United get a bit more stable, I think we're going to see the best of Sancho.
Absolutely. Zamiasi here says Sancho is playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world, being paid a fortune. He can hire therapists, motivation people, etc. It's down to mental health. You know, it's something as well that you have to invest in, you know. Like maybe he needs a life coach. Sometimes you might want to invest in a life coach. You know, again, the extra rehabilitation that you need, maybe Sancho needs to put effort into that one. Maybe you're right. And this is what, you know, again, you have to look after yourself as a footballer. You know, if you don't do that and you don't, you know, help yourself ways and you can improve, Nuruddin, would you as a footballer hire like a life coach, a mental health, a mental coach? You know, do you reckon young players think, you know what, I've got it all. I don't need all of that. Like, I'm young, man. I've got money. Like, do you reckon they have that? Or do they think, you know, it's too early for them to have one?
Listen, if I'm a footballer, I'm getting paid whatever grand a week. If I am a millionaire at a young age, you know what I'm doing? I'm hiring anybody that would help me to be mentally and physically right on the football field. So if it means I'm hiring 10 people, I'm hiring 10 people. If that means that I'm gonna get a bigger house so they can actually live in the property with me to help me, that's what's happening. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
By any means, for me to be 100% peak condition, mentally and physically on the football pitch, I'm getting the help. Regardless, I'm getting the help.
Of course. You know, Nuruddin, we hired a
football is a very short career.
Short career, absolutely.
So for people that think, oh, I want to enjoy life now, I want to party and that, you retire at 34. If you get a really good career, 34, 35, you're done.
Yeah.
Right? 34, 35, you're done. If you're at elite level, you might be able to go in your late 30s. But football is a short career. You can party, you can do all the vacations, do all of the things that you're doing. Then, at this moment in time, focus and try to achieve greatness in football. I'll give you an example. Diego Dalot used to get a lot of injuries at Man United. He would pick up injuries right, left, and centre. Young Portuguese kid. He came when I think it was 19, I think, or 18 when he was.
Yeah, of course.
He came in and out. Managers sack manager. Managers not fancy him. Sent alone here or there. He went to China, Saeed.
Yeah.
Diego Dalot doesn't get injured anymore. You know what I mean? That Chinese medicine can take you a long way. They believe in prevention. They don't like to just treat you for injuries and stuff like that. Well,
prevention.
They believe in keeping your body superb condition, especially as an athlete. They believe all eating the right way, taking all the different supplements. That's what they believe in. They believe in prevention. They don't believe you get there and then you need a doctor or you need an alternative.
Can I ask you a question?
Chinese medicine is thousands years old, yeah?
I know.
And all I'll ask you is that, let's say Liverpool have got a massive Chinese community. I've been in hospitals in Liverpool to visit friends or whatever who got injured or had operations. I hardly ever see any Chinese people in hospital when I've been in hospital. I'm just saying.
Yeah. You know, let me ask you a question though. Man United hired a psychologist last season and it just never worked. You know, and you talked about Man United hiring psychiatrists and whatnot, but this football club, like I said, it's still behind. And that's one of the things Ronaldo did say, and we have to big him up on that. He did say the facilities at Old Trafford, it's not modern. It's not modern. When you look at Man City and you see their little videos that they do on YouTube, by the way, which they bring people closer, and you look at the sports science that they have near the stadium. By the way, Man City have a sports science place right next to their stadium that they use, Nuruddin. But Old Trafford...
Stay there. Saeed, Saeed. Start a sentence again. State of the art.
State of the art, yeah. Yeah, it's true. And this is what you need. And I'm thinking to myself, United, if you're going to become the best clubs in the world, you have to perform the best. You know what I mean? You have to have the best technology. You have to do certain stuff. You have to do it. And then the players then will...
Listen, Man United in the night, I think it was Steve McLaren. Steve McLaren's there. He was the innovator in terms of sports psychologists and bringing that about. You know, when he first came to the club, he went to American sports and found out the support system. I think Steve McLaren is quite experienced in terms of helping and developing and helping young players. I trust Ten Hag and McLaren to really help Sancho. But we like everything else, Saeed.
Have we got a dressing room?
Saeed, you have to help yourself first.
I know.
You have to help yourself first. You have to want to have to ask for the help and need that. I think for me, I'll hire the best sports psychologist, the best injury prevention. I will get out my whole thing, recovery, all of these different things, all of the latest things that can help me. Whatever, money's no issue for me in terms of getting me being on the pitch on a Wednesday.
Well, John Murtaugh was apparently a sports scientist. John Murtaugh apparently was doing sports science. And all that.
So is Andy O'Brien. So is Andy O'Brien. Murtaugh's number two.
The thing is, we need that to correlate into teams doing well. And a lot of people, there's a comment here that says sports science has nothing to do with the former Jadon Sancho. Of course it is, because that leads you to have better performances. Then the players can be studied.
Listen, sports psychology, sports science, injury rehab, preparation for games, all of those different things, all of these things you need help for. So it's not just one, it's specific. People just look at the body and think, no, the mind is the one that controls the body. If your mind's not right, your body ain't going to be right. It's fact. Yeah.
And it's happened to Rashford.
Same Yassi, it's good to see that you're not smoking that shisha today. You're not smoking that big shisha. It's that same Yassi with Ronaldo. Sammy Assi, you need to tell us, is that Sammy Assi with Ronaldo? Please don't tell me.
Wow,
It's
is that
Sammy
actually
Assi with
Ronaldo?
Ronaldo.
Wow, is that actually Ronaldo?
That's
Fair play.
Ronaldo, mate. Sammy Assi with Ronaldo.
Wow.
Listen, let's read it out. Let's read it out. Go back to his chat. What
Oh,
is
sorry, yeah, sorry. Sancho should watch
Rocky
and
and
Apollo.
Apollo Creed
The Eye
and
of
get
Tiger.
Eye of
What
the
a film,
Tiger.
by the way.
Eye
What
of the
film.
Tiger. Doom, 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 doom.
Abdi Shek's coming in and saying, why are you guys making excuses for Sancho? All Man United wingers have been direct, fast-paced. Have you ever seen
No, they
Sancho
haven't.
shoot outside the box?
Anthony's not direct, fast pace. Anthony chops back all the time. What are you talking about?
But this is what I'm saying. We shouldn't think that every player should be the same. Why do Man United fans all program each other to think, you know what? If we're getting this, then that means Sancho has to give us that. It's not that sort of player.
Yo, the hood looks fresh, side. I need to get me one of those hoods, man.
Yeah, man, La Familia, man. I'll get you one, man. I'll get you one, definitely.
Yo, speak to Lampard, mate. Is it Lampard?
Yeah, Lampard, man. He needs to go and get you one, man. I think he's watching right now, to be fair.
Yo, big up Lampard, man. Lampsey, sort it out, lad. Sort it
out, mate. You know what, though? I think for me, you know what it is, yeah? I just want Sancho to do well. I don't want him to fail, man. I think for me, yeah, I can't lie, man. I'm worried that, you know, people and the fan base are just going to lose faith. And that's why I'm saying, Sancho, back the guy, man. Like, stay with him, man. Stay with Sancho, man. I'm telling you. Give him time.
Let me read this. The great Nelson Mandela was in prison for 20 years. He never had a breakdown and went on to be a leader. Youth of today too soft. Let me explain something to you, Sammy Assi. Nelson Mandela was locked up with all of his comrades. He was locked up with about 15 or maybe 30 of them, all of them locked up. So they had each other and they kept each other insane. They kept each other zane, me Assi. So at the end of the day, they're not too soft. It's just the different generations with different things. And I think mental health is serious, especially elite sport. Everybody should big up Claire for sharing with us before, Claire. A lot of people struggle with it, Claire. I've got ADHD. That's a mental health thing. You know what I mean? I'm not neurotypical. Majority of people are in some ways, but people, because of old ways of thinking, have to bury it and hide it. And then that's why the suicide rate is so high. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And there isn't that much care around actually with what's happening to the NHS anyway. But when when you're worth that amount of money, as Jadon Sancho is, and you're getting paid a amount of money, you would get the best people around you to help and support you to get on the football pitch. So start out from everybody. Majority of you adults, right? Even if you're young people, adults, it's okay. It's good to talk about your mental health. The more you talk, the better you feel. You know what they say in it? Problem shared is a problem halved. I genuinely believe that. I know that's a cliche, but I genuinely believe that. So I would encourage people to talk. And at the end of the day, it affects us all, and it affects different people differently. Not everybody.
No, absolutely, you're right. You're right.
Not everybody.
And this is what you got to realize. A lot of people deal with it differently. But then again, like I said, social media. That's why he's coming off social media. That's why he's, for me, stayed away from what's going on. He don't want to see anything. Sometimes, the best way to kind of go about life is not be watching what other people are doing, man. Like, comparing yourself is a big, big thing, nothing. And a lot of people do that. They compare themselves to another person's life and think, why can't I be like that? And I'm not saying Sancho is doing that, but he must be looking at it thinking, Rashford's at the World Cup, Saka's at the World. Saka's a golden child, Saka's a golden boy. And he's thinking, I want to be like that. I want to be the face of all these GQ magazines. And you know what? Sometimes it's not a shame to kind of say I want that life, because at the end of the day, it's a good life. But you know what I mean?
Inspiration from that. It's the same age as him. You take inspiration, but look at the difference. Saka is in a settled, stable club. Man United settled, stable club to you?
No, they're not. They're not, man. They're not.
Ronaldo's telling you nothing behind the scenes. It's nothing has changed in all that time. Nothing.
But Ronaldo as well. What's he calling him like rats and all that? But what's he saying like the kids? I don't think Ronaldo should have said what he said as well.
No. I don't think he meant he's talking about the press as rats. He wasn't talking about the players.
No. I don't mean it in that then. But he kind of called out the younger players, saying they weren't training properly. And then what happens then is maybe then people started to message Jadon Sancho, and then obviously we're targeting him. I don't know, maybe sending message. We don't know yet. I think that was a bit irresponsible from Ronaldo to say that. That's just my own opinion.
Ronaldo was doing that interview to get the hell out of Man United. He had to go reckless. He had to go reckless to get out of Man United.
It don't help, though. It don't help.
Of course it doesn't help.
Difference between Saka and Ronaldo is direct. Saka has elite mentality. I'll be honest with you. I think what Nuruddin is saying is correct. You've got to be in a settled team with a manager he's been there for him for about 3 years. The manager here has only been in with him for not even 6 months, has it? 4 months. He's understanding him. The problem with the manager right now, though, is Ten Hag hasn't got enough time to put an arm around Sancho. He has to think about every single other player. This time here that we'll have in this month period, he has to get Sancho and say, right, one-to-one training, Nuruddin. One-to-one training and properly and make an individual plan for him.
100%.
Do you see what I mean?
100%. 100%. I 100% believe everything you said. I think everything you said is spot on, Saeed. Listen, at the end of the day, it's simple for me. Manchester United, Ronaldo's telling you the infrastructure's not changed in all that time. Do you not think Sancho's thinking this big Man United, this global fan base, this is turns up and looks at it and goes, "You're not even stable as bloody Dortmund." It's crazy. It's crazy.
Big up to everybody watching. 420 people watching. Not even 200 likes, man. Guys, please like the video. It's not hard. It helps the channel massively. The more likes we get, the more it helps the algorithm. So please hit that like button. Please, people. Zayn Miyasi here says, so what if Mason Greenwood comes out and blames his behavior on mental health?
Well, people with mental health go and commit horrific crimes, saying people with mental health go and murder people.
But we don't have them. We can't really discuss that because now we don't know.
Of course, we can't discuss that. But I'm just giving an example.
I know what you mean.
People with mental health do crazy, like literally horrendous crimes because of their mental instability. To me, to dehumanize another human being, you have to have something wrong with you mentally. I go straight from that. Honestly, to dehumanize another human being, you have to have something wrong with you mentally.
But I also think a lot of people use it when reality doesn't need to be used. That card gets thrown about a lot. So we don't know the cause of what Mason Green and why he did it. I think for me right now, it's another year. We have to wait until the case. So we don't know yet. Avoid speculation.
Yeah, listen, it's speculation. But what I'm trying to give an example from what's happened, past incidents in all throughout the world. People with mental health problems can commit horrendous crimes. And we find out that when they've had the psychiatric evaluation, that they're not mentally stable. Do you think serial killers are mentally stable? They're not mentally stable. It's not. But people, listen, big up hit. He says here, Saka said Arsenal backed him to the max after the Euros. Exactly. But Man United are not that stable football club. I'm sorry to say. And by the way, as we're on this side, big up Team Viewer. And none of you tell me protests don't work. Big up to every Team Viewer social media accounts or send Team Viewer an email. Because apparently now Team Viewer want to cut ties with Man United. And that is all driven by the Glazer out movement. So all of you guys, the protests don't do anything. Start doing this, don't do anything. Yes, it does, mate. It does. It does.
Yeah.
It does.
We did it, man. We did it. We made sure we did it.
Big up to every United fan, wherever you are in the world, who actually sent an email, commented on the Team Viewer post. You know what? Told them to distance themselves from this football club. Big up to all of them.
Absolutely. Big up to YUFC, man. I appreciate it, bro. He goes, I support Sancho, but the reality is playing for Man United, you need to be mentally. If you're not, the pressure play for Man United will eat you alive. You know what? It's a big thing that, play for Man United. We underestimate the mental strength. Yeah, you get scrutinized every game. You're magnified at every game. We've not won a trophy in how many years? Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Maybe I've gone overboard with my criticism with not with Sancho, with Rashford. I have. I'm not gonna lie. I'll admit that. But most of it has come down to the fact that we haven't been winning anything. So I have to put my frustrations on players. I've done it on managers. I've done it on players. It's just one of them. And I'm here to openly admit when I'm wrong as well. If Rashford's playing well, I'll say, you know what?
Put some respect on my boy Rashford's name right now, Saeed. Put some respect on my boy Rashford. 3 touches, back of the net. You have a bit of that, eh?
Yeah, of course. Hey. I'm happy for him. But you don't let your agenda go away, though. You still are not happy for players and be like, you know what? Martial out. This player out.
No,
like,
mate, injuries, mate. And anyway, Martial.
What's he doing, by the way?
Stop trying to bully the youngsters.
Nah. They're Ronaldo fanboys, man. The Ronaldo fanboys wanted him out. I made a theory here that the Ronaldo fanboys went to him and said, yo, listen, you're Martial, yeah? You're not taking his position. We're going to try and get you injured or get kicked out of the football club. So then they have to keep Ronaldo. Listen, big up to man from Wuhan. Man. The heights that Garnacho will reach this season plays a factor into Sancho's future. It's becoming evident. By the way, Garnacho is getting a new deal, 50 grand a week.
Yeah.
Because you know why? They don't want him to go to Real Madrid just yet. And it's obviously going to have to... It's crazy, like you have a few good performances and, bro, like that, 50 grand a week. But fair play to him. But will that affect a lot for Ronaldo, for Sancho? Sancho's position, Gakpo possibly coming this summer. Does he have a... I'm not saying he doesn't have a future but does it become harder now? Does it become harder now for him to establish a first team spot?
I swear to God, some of you United fans, including you, Saeed, I've lost up a lot. Look, I'm about to say, I'm 8th position they got to cover.
Yeah. But you said Ten Hag doesn't like rotating?
He has to, mate.
But no, hold on a minute. But what I just said to you, so how can you go against me there and say,
I'm going against you?
We need to do rotation.
Why? Because Saeed, Ten Hag needs to wake up, yeah? Give him a
that's another whole matter, man. You just asked me. No, hold on a minute. You can't do that to me.
Let me finish the point.
This is why I'm asking you that question. This is why I'm asking the question. Go on.
No, you won't let me finish.
Oh, no, I will let you finish. Go on.
Erik Ten Hag needs to look in the mirror, give himself a slap on the face, and think, this is not the area division. This is not where you can play games. You're 3-0 up by 25 minutes, 15 minutes gone. You can relax. Players keep the ball, rest on the ball, do all of that. This league is intense. If you burn players out, major injuries come.
Yeah.
And he said it in his own words. He said, for Man United to compete for trophies, I need 2 players in each position.
Yeah. No, but I'm asking. No, but the thing is, you're not understanding what I'm saying. Is that if Garnacho comes and if Gakpo comes, I said, will it become harder to him to establish a place in the team? Game time is one thing, but Sancho needs a lot of rhythm and a lot of game time. That's what I'm asking you. I'm not trying to say, and then you beat me with the same bush of Ten Hag doesn't play, he doesn't rotate well. But this is what we need to understand then.
Well, in the area division, Ten Hag didn't rotate, Saeed. I think Ten Hag has had the biggest wake-up call he will ever have in his coaching career coming to the Premier League, mate. Premier League, you can't get
well, though.
Is that okay?
He's doing well. He's doing well so far.
Yeah, he's doing great. But what I'm saying to you is that the biggest wake-up call, because this is not the area division where, like I just explained to you, in the area division, 2-3-0 up, 25 minutes gone, relaxing on the ball. They let the ball do the work. Man United are not that team. Teams won't let you do that. The Premier League is too competitive for you to do that. So, of course, he needs players that are comfort. But to me, I want a striker side. I don't want Gakpo. I'm sorry to say to you United fans, getting giddy. I don't want Gakpo. I want a striker.
There's no striker market, man. There's no one there around.
Let
me just read the super chat. Let me just read the super chat.
No, there's a kid called Benjamin Sesko. Man United, stop being stingy.
Bro, he's
40 million and get him.
RB Leipzig, man.
Nah, mate. If they offer 40 to 45 million, they'll get him.
Zamias says Martial is overrated. Luis Saha was better, and we had Will Todd, who was levels above Sancho. Let me ask you a question, Nuruddin. How many German players have done well at Man United?
So No, side, bring it back. Reload. Guys, it's become that time where Sammy Assi has literally started smoking the hardcore stuff on that pipe, mate. That shisha pipe has gone to his head. That somebody put something different, some hardcore stuff in that shisha pipe. No, Wilton was a good player for Arsenal, but he didn't have the talent of Sancho. I'm sorry to say.
No,
Nobody
he
was
wasn't.
fighting Wilton for a lot of money at the age of 22. Let's get that right. Now, Martial's not
He was
overrated.
effective, though. He was effective for Arsene Wenger.
He was affected. He was like a Elanga kind of guy. But obviously...
No, he wasn't Elanga.
He was an Elanga type of player. He was.
He was more technical than that, man.
No, Saeed. Nah, Saeed, you don't see Elanga's technique. So,
yeah, because there is none.
No. Honestly, Saeed, the agenda.
Bro, I've nothing against Elanga.
Agenda, honestly, the agenda from a certain section.
No, but why do you rate Elanga? There's no reason to rate Elanga.
No, he's a young player. He's a young player. Like I said to you again, all of these young players. Listen,
you won't get
you just said Man United is not a stable club. It's not a stable club. We're far from being stable club. The pressure, the fan base like you, who just because somebody technically is not as gifted as you think, don't mean that they can't be a player. You can't have 11 technically gifted footballers because 11 technically, that doesn't want to make a great team. It's not. So listen, can he be a threat? 100% against Fulham. When he got taken off, Fulham took us to the cleaners. They did. They did.
Man.
They did. I'm sorry to say, he's not techie for FIFA generation. You guys need to get your heads out of the FIFA.
You need to leave us alone, man. You need to leave our FIFA generation alone.
Honestly, you've lost the plot.
Big up to UFC. He says,
Yassa, by the way. Yassa. Big up Yassa.
Yeah, big up, man. Big up. He goes, by the way, I'm not giving up on Ahmad and Pellistri. Can't wait to see Pellistri for Uruguay. That's one, I think, for me, it's better than Elanga. I think Ahmad is better than Elanga as well. I'll be real with you. Let me ask you a question, Nuruddin. German players for
Saeed, you need to listen. You need to retract that comment. You say, personally, you prefer Pellistri and Ahmad.
Yeah.
That's what you prefer. But don't be like they're better than him.
Okay. They're not better than him.
Stop with the agenda. Stop with the slander.
All right, okay, cool. Let me ask you a question. How many German players have done well at Man United? German players. Have we had any good German players at Man United?
Not in my
Let
life.
us know in the comments. And keep liking the video, people.
Not in my lifetime. I mean, Bastian Schweinsteiger was all right when he was fit, but he was never fit.
Never fit. No. Even in the 90s, did we have anyone from Germany?
No. We had Kinky Shagawa, but he came from Bundesliga, but he wasn't.
I liked him, you know. He came from Dortmund as well.
He wasn't a flop. People that say he was a flop need their heads.
He wasn't a flop. No. He wasn't a flop. He just faded away. Towards Van Gaal era. Van Gaal didn't rate him. And then he took him off.
He was not a flop, mate, by any means.
Nobody's done well, though, from the German league. Is that a telling story, or is that just one of them where you just got to just kind of almost take it? Nuruddin, you know who had Rashford, Sancho, Martial in his pocket? Ian Wright, who I thought was better than Rooney. Ian Wright. Ian Wright, I can't lie to you. Legend, man. Legend. So I can't really... Oh, yeah, Hargreaves, man.
He's not German. He's Canadian British. He's Canadian British.
He came from the German league. I'm talking about he came from the German league. He came from Bayern Munich. You know what? One of the most underrated players we've ever had.
Brilliant player.
Brilliant player, man.
When he got injured, when he got injured, he could play like he could play right wing, he can play centre midfield, he can play left back, right back. Yeah. The energy levels are incredible energy levels. What a player.
No, it wasn't Fergie that sold him. It was Van Gaal, innit? I'm sure it was Van Gaal sold him. Because he played under Moyes and then he played under Van Gaal in the system, but it never worked out. Then he went back to Dortmund, I think. So, like I said, for me, go on.
Ian Wright is a legend, but I don't know. All I'm saying to you is that keep Rashford out of your mouth. Rashford not meant Zinchenko to set up Anthony 3-1. Say me, I said, talk to me. 3-1. You came to Old Trafford, you got humbled. You got given some
everyone's loving it, man.
Back down the M1. So stop talking to me about Man
Marcus
United.
Rashford,
Man United.
Ramon. But also, you know what? Yeah, how many times do we give excuses to Shaw, Rashford? Why are we not giving excuses to Sancho to bed into this team? Is it because he hasn't showed his quality and Rashford has at that
Man,
age?
I'm not talking about giving excuses. You just got to provide the context. So giving a context to what could be going on, because we don't 100% know what's going on, but giving a context.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I've heard a few stories about Sancho, which I can't say, obviously online. And when I talked about it, I think for me, it's the people around him, man. That I think for me, he needs to get rid of.
100%.
That's what I've kind of like been told and whatnot. So for me, it's the people around him. So you go, it's one of them situations where he just needs to know his surroundings and who he's working with and who he's in,
100%.
living with and whatnot. Because at the end of the day, there will be a big part of your life, man. Your friends. What did they say about what is it? You are what you. I don't know what's the saying like in terms of
you
like.
are what you eat, and you are who you are. The people you surround yourself by.
There you go. Exactly. You know what I mean? Big up to Nuruddin for that. And I think for me, has he got motivated people around him that wanted to succeed, that are training with him, that are going out for jogs? You know what I mean? Saying, right, you know what? We're going out to the gym now. We're going to do extra work. So if you haven't got them kind of people around you, then this is where, from Moores can have developed Garnacho to surpass Sancho.
I don't think so. I think
it just depends on what the manager wants.
Saeed, are all these people your regulars? Are they all United fans, or are they like? Do they support?
Yeah. These are regulars, man. These are regulars. We've got a couple of people who watch me from the Big Six. Big up to everyone. But most of them are United fans. Yeah, but go on.
For me, they're just so harsh. I wish you were around when Giggsy was going through turmoil. I wish, because I remember that time. I really like Giggs, because I remember when he broke through. He was sensational.
Yeah.
And I would get frustrated that he would get injured and all that. But at times his head was not right. At the end of the day, it is what it is. No, it's not a trophy, saying Miasi. It's not a winning a trophy. But you know what it is? It's just humbling that Arsenal Football Club and their big mouth fans down the M1, mate. Up will crumble. We're going to do this. We're going to be unbeaten. Every unbeaten record.
Who do you want to win the league, by the way?
What's your record at Old Trafford, mate? What happens when you come to OT? You give it a big in, you get slapped back down the M1, backhanded that back down the M1.
Oh, listen, man.
That's what happens. Sometimes you know what you get? You get sliced Roger Federer, mate. You get sliced backhand back down the M1. That's what you get. You get tennis shot back down the M1. And that's what happens to you, say Miasi. So don't give me any of that.
But you know what it is, though?
Mate, 14 games gone, mate. 14 games gone, mate. 38 games. You've not won anything yet, so calm down. Stop getting.
We're going to play them again in January, Nuruddin.
Yeah, no problem.
And we might be the team that beats them again.
No problem.
Yeah, but I think for me, like I said, Somalia Landu says, what a name, by the way. Sancho is not living in a profession enough. He can see by lack of his effort, he's not sacrificing like Mbappe and Ronaldo. You have to live the sport. It doesn't end at training. Is that another thing? Be honest here.
We're making the speculations now. At the end of the day.
No. Can I ask you a question though? In terms of his athleticism, does he need to do a little bit more? Because he's not really finishing a game every time. Like he finishes around 65 minutes, 70 minutes. Do you think he's athletic enough? Do you reckon he puts the training in terms of having more stamina, like durability? Like, I'm not saying it's big or whatnot. I'm just saying like durability, like, looking after yourself in that kind of sense and whatnot.
Listen, I just want to comment on Samala Landu. Big up, by the way. What you just said, all of that speculation. At the end of the day, to me, I've not seen or heard anything that made me to believe Sancho is not a professional. I just think playing for the most written about football club, Saeed, Manchester United, Barcelona, and Real Madrid are the three of the biggest football clubs written about. Saeed, who's the biggest media clickbaiting thing in this country? Who?
Yep.
Manchester United. Playing under that pressure at the age of 22 is difficult. And I would love to know what some of you guys make it out like you've lived this perfect life. I love to put cameras and spotlight under your lives at the age of 22.
Listen, leave them alone. They're not footballers. We have to talk about these footballers. No, Nuruddin, they have a right to opinion. They have a right to opinion, Nuruddin.
Yeah, but some of the things they're coming out with is too harsh, mate. I'm not having it.
I don't know, maybe just the way they invested in football. I don't. Obviously, it can have opinion without being personal.
A lot of them are speculating.
Okay, maybe, but then I think they're just worried about him. Big up to Nathaniel. He says, big up to Nathaniel Lee. He says, big up Saeed. For both, who is your favorite all-time Man United player? Paul Scholes, easy.
Cantona.
No, Cantona. I wish I seen Cantona, man. I wish.
Or even like speaking. If you would have seen Cantona, no other Man United player would have passed your lips, mate. Okay. You would not. You would never utter any other player's words.
Yeah.
You talk about winning, talk about mentality, talking about when the team needs you the most, pulling it out, magic moments. Cantona.
Zamias is asking you, Saeed got a clash. Nuruddin versus Ty. Ty will win. Nuruddin will destroy Ty, man. Nuruddin. No, listen. The only thing you have to make sure you're good at making sure, you know, you can hold the mental drainage of time, man. Are you very, very patient?
I've got nothing but love and respect for Ty. I always back him up when people try to take the mick out of him.
Yeah, take the mick. Yeah, of course.
He loves Arsenal Football Club.
He's a good guy, man.
And I personally think if there was any justice in the world, he's the type of person that would work for Arsenal. Like, get a really good position in Arsenal, whatever capacity, working for them in a good position, paying a good wage, because that guy backs his. I'm not as delusional as Ty. I love him to bits, but even sometimes he recognizes a bit too delusional.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I big him up for that. I got nothing but love for fans who back their football club. I just wish I can do it full-heartedly. I can never do it. I can back the manager and the players, but I can never back the Glazers. Never. Never.
Yeah.
Back the
Crazy. Man from Wuhan says, it's not being harsh, Nuruddin. Garnacho has greater untapped potential, and he has that dog, him, a truly special baller. He's got that dog in him, Nuruddin. He's got that dog.
Listen. It's going to be difficult moments for him to come through, like every young person in life.
Do you believe in him? Before we wrap up,
Garnacho, Saeed, of course I did.
No, I'm talking about Sancho.
Oh, of course, 100%.
Let me know in the chat, do you believe in Sancho? Are you going to be backing him? Are you waiting for him to show you something? Let us know in the chat, people. Let us know in the chat. We're going to wrap it up here. You know what? I think it's been one of the best podcasts in a long while. We've actually understood Sancho, what he's going through. We've talked about the psychology behind it. We've not just given him excuses. We've talked about how he could get better. I hope Sancho watches this podcast, you know. Like, seriously, man. You know what? I might tell Musa, yeah, because Musa knows his dad, you know. I might tell Musa to send this podcast to his dad and say to Sancho, just watch this podcast.
We believe in him. We believe in
you. We believe in you, man.
You're 22 years old. The world is your oyster. The world is yours, Sancho. You could be anything you want to be. Listen, you could be going down as one of the legendary players of Man United history forever. So, listen, it's never too late. He's 22 years old. The world at his feet. We're here to support you. And the fan base needs to get behind him. We need to, instead of this fever generation coming out with their critiques, with their wild takes, we need to get behind them. We need to believe in young players. They can turn this around. And I'm putting a lot of faith in Ten Hag and Steve McLaren, but he's got to want to help himself. And I think what he's done is fantastic, by the way, because it's difficult as a young person not to be on social media. So him by doing that for me, that's the first step. That's like telling me he's serious. And a lot of you who doubted him, you're going to be eating your words soon. Mark my words, you'll be eating your words soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, big up to everybody who's locked in, man. 400 of you here. Guys, let's get 300 likes.
So they need to come over now because we need to get to this. We need to get to the bottom of this. A special podcast, World Cup special podcast, the Moral Hypocrisy Parade podcast, looking at everything football and all of the talking points from the tournament. Get down there. Smash it. Listen, liking a video is the freest thing you could do.
Yeah.
It's the easiest thing you could do, people. And what does that do? It gets the algorithm up. More people see the video.
Yep, absolutely. And make sure, guys, I think it's coming in half an hour. There's a video of the vlog that you guys will watch. Watch it in your own time. Me and Steve went out to the England game in the fan park. Good video. Go check it out. The vlog.
Listen, let me know the next one. I'll come along.
Yeah, definitely. You know what? I will, because we'll get a table. Just trying to sort it out. So listen, love, peace. We're out. Come join us. Nordish channel. We're going to be there live now. Take care. Bye-bye.